Welcome back to Broken Bobby's Transformation Page. If you are new to the page, in 1990 I became involved in the drug gang world. From 92 to '06, I spent a lot of time incarcerated. I tell these stories to let you know it don't have to be you. If you're young and thinking about trying something or you're figuring out how to get out, these are my stories of this lifestyle and how it affected me, and eventually I got out and transformed my life. So let's get into today's story. All right, guys, as you can see by the thumbnail, the fall of Pelican Bay. It ain't what it once was. So, when I was growing up, doing criminal activity and going to jail and prison, Pelican Bay always had this aura about it. It was the home of the big four, if you will. And it was, as I was getting ready to go to prison, it was famous for that big B yard riot in the year 2000. Now, at its peak, the SHU, which is the secure housing unit, this is the prison within the prison, if you will, housed around 2,000 inmates. It's not that anymore. In 2014, the end of all hostilities agreement was made, and a lot of all of the big four inmates were released out to the general populations over the next few years. So if you enjoy this sort of content, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, drop a comment, tell me what you think. If you've been there in the last decade or so, drop a comment and let me know. I would love to know what's going on recently, and share the video if you know somebody that may enjoy this sort of content. So as I was growing up, like I was saying before, Pelican Bay was an achievement. That might sound funny to somebody that's never done time, but this was in the world of criminality. This was the Harvard, this was the MIT, this was the Yale of, this was where all the knowledge was at, where all the brilliant criminal minds were being housed. And, when you would hit a yard, you wanted to put in some work and catch a SHU term so that, there's more than, Pelican Bay wasn't the only secure housing unit in the state. There was one at Corcoran, and I believe there was one at Tehachapi as well. But you wanted to go to Pelican Bay. The thing is, when somebody would land on the yard and say, yeah, I was at Pelican Bay, you paid attention to that vato, because he had been up there with, the famous ones, if you will, of the prison system, the guys that were running the show, the big dogs, the heavy hitters, whatever, the legends, whatever you want to call them, the guys that were making things happen, the guys that could, buy a house and put their kids through college while sitting in an 8x10 cell in Pelican Bay 23 hours a day. These guys were this is where the guys were. You wanted to catch a SHU term, you wanted to go to Pelican Bay, and you wanted to catch the attention of a big homie so he could put you up on game. And ideally, you would leave there with, a job, I guess you would say. You'd be working for one of these guys and making money and being able to say, hey, I'm working for so-and-so. Because, that stuff carried a lot of weight. And the thing is, in 2004, when they did that end all hostilities agreement, they found it to be cruel and unusual punishment to house these guys like this for decades, and they allowed them to come back out to the general population lines. So now, going to somewhere like Pelican Bay truly is a punishment because, I mean, it rains like 200 days a year up there. It's gloomy. It's, you know, not a lot of sunshine. Like it sucks to be there. And especially now that there's no big homies to drop that knowledge on you, it's no longer the place to be. And although the name still rings, within the media and throughout a lot of people, I hear a lot of people tell Pelican Bay stories. They're telling stories about when the big homies were still there. So by letting all the big homies out, it lost all its mystique. And, the thing is, Pelican Bay today is not what it was then. It's not the same place. The name still rings, but it's just another penitentiary at this point, in my opinion. Today, there's about 1,800 inmates in the entire penitentiary. Half of them are level 4 inmates. You got about 400 open cell level 2 is what CDCR describes it as, inmates that are basically they're a support yard for the big yard. And there's 3 compounds. You got the level 2, you got the 4s, and then you have the secure housing unit inmates. According to the CDCR website, there still are 296 secure housing unit inmates. And these are people that have committed violent crimes, stabbings, stuff of that sort. So, it's not what it once was. I think a lot of people don't realize that, but, that's what it is. So I hope you enjoyed the education on Pelican Bay today. And, the thing is, it's just about making good decisions in life. You don't want to go to prison. When I was growing up, I felt I was predestined to go to prison. My father had been to prison. A lot of the homies I knew were in and out of prison. And I just thought that that's what it was supposed to be. But it don't need to be that way. If you're heading down that path, find something new to do. If you're using, stop using. Find a meeting or a class or something or some in-house support and, take control of your life. Because, as much as we all want to think that we're our own man, when you get on those yards with the big homies and they ask you to do something, you're going to do it. It's just what it is, These guys control everything. And if you decide that you don't want to do a favor, as they say, then they'll get someone else to do a favor on you. So that's the message of the day. Let's find some good stuff to do and make it a great Sunday, guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you liked the video, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Share the video if you think somebody may enjoy this content, and hit that notification bell so that anytime I drop a story, you will be notified. Don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.